It's August, and although we had an amazing winter season, it is time for us now to prepare for the upcoming spring and summer garden. So in today's video, I will be sharing some of the plans that I have to have a productive summer and spring season, and how I'm planning to transition my garden from a winter garden into a productive spring and summer garden. So all of that is coming up. Now, when planning a gardening season, I think it's important to have a clear goal and an objective as to what you want to achieve. But I think it's important to ask yourself, what would you like to achieve this spring and this summer? Now, for me, I would like to focus on self-sufficiency. In other words, I would like to grow a good share of items that we are consuming. So I've made a list of all the items that we purchase on a regular basis, and I've identified 3 crops that I will be focusing on. And that includes onions, sweet potatoes, and squashes. So of course I will be growing other crops like tomatoes, carrots, and other items. But my main focus is to grow these items that at the end of the season, I must at least have 2 to 3 months supply of onions, sweet potatoes, and squash plants. Now that is my goal. I think it's important that you need to define your goals for your spring and summer garden. Now, to transition your garden from a winter to a spring and summer garden, I think it's important to map out your garden. So for me, I have approximately 8 plots. So when I talk about mapping things out, it's important to just keep it simple. So for me, I've just identified what I have currently in my garden and just have an idea as to when will I be harvesting those items. Now, in order to reach my goal, I must make sure that I plant enough squash plants, enough slips, and onions. So I have identified places where I'll be planting butternut. So the varieties that I want to focus on is the Waltham variety, the honey nut, and also some gem squash. Now, for the Waltham variety, I will be planting 1 in a barrel, and I'm planning to plant 1 on the ground where my broad beans are currently. So I'm anticipating to harvest my broad beans around about October, November. This will also give me an idea as to when should I start my seed indoors so that I can transplant it as soon as I harvest my broad beans. The other one I will be planting in a barrel, and this will be my first time to grow in a barrel, and I will just want to see how that goes. But in order to reach my goals, I will at least need 2 Waltham varieties. I need 2 plants of the honey nut, which I will be planting next to these 2 trellises. And the gem squash, I will be planting on the other trellis in my jungle garden. When it comes to sweet potatoes, I think I need to plant approximately 20 slips. So I'll be planting again some slips in a barrel. And once I've harvested the onions in my jungle garden, I will then be planting additional slips with the hope to reach my target by the end of this season. Yeah. So the onions, I currently do have onions growing, onion sets. I have some shallots that are growing quite nicely. So I will also just be starting leeks to make sure that once more space become available to plant some leeks, just to ensure that I always have that onion flavor in my garden. So I will also plant some spring onions. That will just make sure that I do not buy onions for some time, and just to cut down on my grocery bill, because I don't know about you, but things are quite pricey at the moment. So my focus, therefore, is this season to focus on items that I can eat on for a much longer time, or that we can store for much longer. Yeah. So I'm lucky enough to have some volunteer tomatoes currently popping up. I will be planting additional tomatoes. But the benefit of mapping things out is that once you have allocated enough space for your main crops that you want to grow, it will then allow you to fill the other spaces with some additional crops. So I will be planning to grow some zucchini. Last year, things did not go that well. I tried to grow them in growing bags, didn't go that well. So I will be trying a new variety. So the summer squash will mainly be for fresh use, and I'm hoping to grow this winter squash to store at least for 2 to 3 months. Now, the mapping exercise can also be implemented if you have a container garden. I think that can also help you with succession planting, where you can just map out your space, plan what you will be growing in that space, and then anticipate how long it will take before it is ready for harvest. By doing that, you will always maybe start things indoors and then ensure that whenever you harvest something, you can immediately replace it with a new crop. So whether you are growing on a balcony or in a small backyard, I believe success starts with a clear goal and a clear plan. And I also think that mapping out your garden can also help you to have a smooth transition from a winter garden into a productive spring and summer garden. So I think it's important to start with a why, plan with purpose, and see how your garden thrives. So please let us know in the comments what you are growing, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next one. Keep on sowing and growing.